Welcome back, WagerTalk TV. I'm your host, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, joined by Tony Finn and Brian Leonard as well at WagerTalk.com. And guys, we're going to break down a Pac-12 game for this Saturday, December 12th in college football. UCLA, USC, a big rivalry game. Normally, this is one of the last, if not the last, games of the season for these two teams. It's kind of the case again, but they only have about half as many games under their belt here. Tony, let me start with you. It's sitting on that key number of 3. You know, we saw some 3.5s out there early in the week briefly. Everybody else opened and quickly went to 3. And that's where it stands as we do this video early on Tuesday night here. We'll see where it settles by this weekend. But what's your take right now, Tony Finn? USC Trojans, a 3-point favorite, totals around 61.5.
The Pac-12 is one of the most difficult conferences for me to get information from various sources, mostly because I've, for about 4 years now, I've made it a quest, a task that we pull the Pac-12 out of the Power 5 conference and add someone else because they've yet to make the college playoffs. And for the most part, although I think, until USC wakes up and finds a coach that's tell me. I'll let you guys comment after I'm done. I'll make this really short. Tell me that you're not surprised that they don't have a new coach. I guess they couldn't convince Urban to come coach that mess. But quickly, first off, UCLA's been better this year. They've been a mess. They've been a mess from year one. They were a little better last year. This year, actually, they're running the ball really well. And defensively, they're holding a team. I think teams about 3.5 yards a carry, and they're rushing for about 5.1. If you look at the underlying peripherals of USC, they seem impressive. They're big, they're long, they're lanky, they're fast. They got a quarterback that can throw the ball 300 yards. That kind of a team, that kind of exaggeration. In truth, USC, I think USC has about 3 or 4 more first downs than they've allowed, and they seem to play close. They're a tough team to trust, and this being a 3-point game, it's essentially a coin flip. At least that's what the odds are telling you, and it probably is. I mean, I like Slovis, but they're just a team that's very difficult for me to trust. And I love hearing people talk about the Pac-12 because, again, I've been a little venomous towards them, and every time I have a chance to get on radio or anything, I mention that I think it's time we boycotted the Pac-12, and we're living out here, guys. And added as far as I'm concerned, you can add the AAC. I think it's the equivalent to the Pac-12, maybe better. So
Tony,
here come the emails. Here come the emails.
Well, Tony, I was going to say I think the committee's somewhat agreeing with you in recent years. The Pac-12 has definitely been the 5th out of the 4-team playoff. Brian, a lot of people are talking about USC as a sleeper, though, if you're looking for someone on your national title long shots just because they could sneak into that Final Four. I'm personally not seeing it. They've only played 4 games. This will be their 5th. And as Tony said, only a 3-point favorite. So it's not like this is some kind of quality win. Brian, what jumps out to me, though, is that USC throws for about 75% of their total yards this year, not running the ball well. 3.6 yards a carry, 112 running yards a game. For a 4-0 team is not normal. And then as Tony mentioned, UCLA is running the ball better. In fact, UCLA rushes for 228 yards a game, and that's more than 50% of their total yards. So big dichotomy here between the two matchups. USC pass heavy, UCLA maybe that running underdog. What are you looking at, Brian Leonard, in this matchup?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with what's been talked about already. We talk about the running games. USC, 3.6 yards a carry, giving up 4.6. Every time they have a running play, they lose a yard. On the other side, we've got a UCLA team averaging 5.1 yards a carry, giving up 3.7. Every time somebody runs, they gain 1.4 yards. So that's a huge 2.4-yard differential per play based on how these teams have done so far this year. The last 2 games, USC has a +6 turnover margin. They have not been impressive to me. You take a look at USC on the season. Despite that 4-0 record, they produced less offense in every single game this season. They started off with 556 yards in the opener against Arizona State. Last time out, only 287 against Washington State. Each week, they've had less offensive production from a yardage standpoint all season long. And Tony mentioned the first downs. The Trojans +3 first downs on the season. UCLA plus 18 on the year. Now, that USC probably has a more explosive offense because of the passing that you talked about. But still, if you're 4-0 and you're plus 6, or excuse me, plus 3 in the turnovers, or excuse me, 3 on the first downs, that's not very impressive. 2 home games so far for the Bruins. They've outscored the opposition 61-20. The host in this series has won outright 4 of the last 5 innings. I think the wrong team is favored here. I know the early money was on USC. USC is one of those teams that we keep thinking each and every year is going to be a national title contender. Forget about it. They're not going to be. Nobody in this conference is, unless it's one of those rare Oregon teams that have been able to do it in the past. I like UCLA. I think they win this game outright. It's really surprising to me to get a home underdog with this big of a rushing differential. And this is one of my top plays for the week.
Yeah, Brian, when we all started in the 90s, this would have been an automatic heavy play for all of us with this rushing edge. And obviously college football and pro football has really changed the last decade or so with the pass-heavy offenses. But you can still control that clock. You can control the line of scrimmage. You get them as an underdog price. It's an angle that definitely is worth looking at. So once again, UCLA, a substantial running edge, as Brian mentioned here in this game, yet they're a 3-point dog. And by the way, strength of schedule is pretty equal. I mean, they've played nothing but conference opponents so far. So those rushing numbers, USC, UCLA schedule is not that far apart if you look at the ratings. So I think it's pretty telling. Quick reminder, right now at sportsmemo.com or wagertalk.com, daily 50 is the code you want to use, and you can get half price on any daily package of your choice. It's a great way to try out any handicapper you'd like, any package you'd like, because you're getting a 50% discount. Once again, daily 50, daily 50, wagertalk.com or sportsmemo.com gets you 50% off a daily package, daily 50 right now, wagertalk or sportsmemo.com. Hey guys, great information. Good luck this week, and we'll be back soon with more videos right here on WagerTalk TV.